Alright, so we just had the Zenless Zone Zero version 1.6 livestream, and they gave us a lot of info about the upcoming S-rank characters, Silver Soldier Anby and Trigger. So today, I want to go over what we know about their kits so far and their overall value to see whether or not you should be pulling for them on your account. So starting out here with Silver Soldier Anby, who I'm just going to shorten to Silver Anby. She is an electric attack character. And starting out here with her special attack is going to apply the silver star mark to enemies whenever you hit them with it. And whenever you also hit them with the special attack, you're going to apply one charge as well as one stack of White Thunder, and White Thunder can stack up to 3 times. Whenever an enemy has White Thunder on them, you can press Silver Anby special again to consume 1 stack of White Thunder, and by doing so, you're going to deal an additional aftershock damage to the enemy. And aftershock damage is basically just like an additional damage proc that will apply to the enemy, which is a new mechanic in Zenless Zone Zero and one we're going to see with all 3 of the new characters in 1.6. Then if you hit an enemy with aftershock damage 3 times from Silver Anby, you're going to activate a unique special attack with her, which will deal an additional hit of aftershock damage as well on the enemy to just give you even more damage. Then the only real difference between the special and the EX special is that when you use her EX special, you're going to apply the maximum amount of White Thunder stacks right away. So instead of having to use the special over and over to get 1 stack at a time, you can get up to 3 stacks, which is very good to get that extra aftershock damage. Next up for her core passive, whenever enemies have the silver star mark, Silver Anby is going to deal increased damage to those enemies, and those enemies will take increased crit damage from any aftershock hit from any ally. So if you're running other aftershock characters, they're going to be able to benefit from this as well. Then for Silver Anby's additional ability, she needs to have another ally who is either a stun character or a support character, which makes her once again very universal, similarly to how we have Evelyn and Astra Yao. So with this additional ability active, Silver Anby is going to get a crit rate increase, and whenever Silver Anby is the active character against any enemies that are marked with Silver Star, all allies will deal additional aftershock damage, and that's going to work really well with characters who can do aftershock damage when they're off the field, which we'll get to once we talk about Trigger. Then the last part of her kit that they talked about is her ultimate. Her ultimate is a pretty strong attack, and upon using it, it's going to apply 3 stacks of White Thunder. So you'll be able to get right into dealing Silver Soldier Anby's aftershock damage right after that. So now to go into her overall value, since that's everything they gave us for the kit so far, she does seem like a pretty strong DPS character, and I can see her probably being number 2 in the game. I'm not sure that she'll be able to, outclass Miyabi just yet. I mean, we don't have the full kit. I'll probably have a more, informed opinion about it once we get the full kit info in a few days. But I do think that with the way her additional ability works, I think that Silver Soldier Anby can be pretty universal, but she has very obvious synergy with other characters that can perform aftershock attacks, mainly being Trigger and Pulchra. So I think that Silver Soldier Anby is going to be a pretty good character to pull for if you need another strong DPS or you need another strong electric DPS. And whether or not I'll think she's a must pull, I'm not really going to say, I'm not going to give her that, kind of notion right now. We'll save that for once we have her full kit and we can actually see her in action. So now let's move on to Trigger. Trigger is an electric stun character, so she's going to be able to provide a lot of daze, which is going to be helpful for a lot of DPS characters, and the way she does it is also really nice. So there's 2 different types of basic attacks she has. She has one that is on field and one that is when she's off field, which makes her very unique there. So starting with her on field one, you're going to hold down the basic attack button to enter her sniper stance, and this allows you to fire shots repeatedly at enemies, and whenever you hit an enemy with a shot, you're going to gain 25 Purge, and Purge can be stacked up to 100, meaning you only need to hit 4 shots with her before you have the max Purge. And when you release the attack button there, you'll do one final attack, and it's going to trigger a quick assist as well, which is perfect because you want to get to using that off-field basic attack once you have your Purge maxed out. So for her off-field basic attack now, this will activate when allies hit an enemy with any of their skills, but the type of basic attack you get here is going to depend on what skills your allies use. So if they use normal stuff like a basic attack, regular special, things like that, just like basic kind of stuff, you're going to consume 3 purge to fire 1 shot. And this shot is aftershock damage as well. And this can activate once every 3 seconds, so you are getting extra procs of aftershock damage when you use those abilities. But if you hit an enemy with a more powerful skill from your allies, being something like an EX special or an ultimate, you're going to consume 5 purge to fire an enhanced shot, which is going to have a very high daze multiplier and a pretty high interrupt level as well, which can be really good to extend your combos and also getting you closer to actually stunning the enemy. And for this one, you can activate it 2 times per every 20 seconds for the same type of skill. And what I think that means is that you could do it 2 times every 20 seconds for your EX special, and if you get 2 ultimates during that same time frame, you can also get the shots from there as well. Which you should be able to get a good amount of days from this as well, and trigger doesn't really have to be on field outside of just getting the purge built up to begin with. Then, for Trigger's core passive, when you hit an enemy with an aftershock effect, it is going to apply a unique stun damage multiplier to enemies, which will increase the amount of damage they take while they're stunned. And you're also able to apply this multiplier when they're not stunned, just so it can be up for when you do get the stun on them, which is really good so that you are going to get even more out of the stun window on the enemies. Then for Trigger's EX special, when you hit an enemy with the EX special, it's going to activate the coordinated support state for 8 seconds. And during this, you can activate the off-field basic attack 4 times without the cooldown, and it does not consume purge points as well. And you will exit the coordinated support either when the 8 seconds passes or when you use all 4 of those off-field basic attacks. So that gives her even more chances to build up days and even more times to trigger aftershock as well. Then lastly, for Trigger's ultimate, it's going to activate coordinated support for 12 seconds and basically will work the same way as what I mentioned before for coordinated support, but instead of the 4 times it can use the off-field basic attack, it's going to be 6 times now. So you're going to get 6 procs of aftershock upon using the ultimate, which is really good to get a bunch of days, and honestly is a very unique mechanic that I really like a lot. So that is everything we have for Trigger's kit. So to talk about her overall value, I think she's probably going to be the best low field time stunner, because we do have like Chingy does take a lot of field time. Lighter I don't think is as bad as Chingy. I don't have as much experience using him, but Trigger seems like a character that really doesn't need to be on the field that much. All you have to do is really build up her purge to begin with, and then swap out, and then you can swap in to build purge again, use her ultimate. So she is very much going to be a low field time character, which I think is really good for a stun character. Plus she can still contribute even when she's off the field, which I think is really important for her, and I think is what's going to make her stand out compared to the other stun characters we have. And overall, I think she's going to be very consistent if you're able to play her rotation right and make sure you're getting as many of her off-field aftershock hits as possible. So I think that if you are looking for a stun character that can, benefit your account and you don't have to worry about a character that is taking a lot of on-field time, I think Trigger can be a very good character for you to pull for. But we'll talk more about Trigger once we get her full kit in a few weeks. So that is really everything for these characters here. I am going to make a separate dedicated video for Pulchra when we get her full kit as well. I really just wanted to focus in on the S-Rank agents. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of Silver, Anby, and Trigger. They both seem pretty solid to me. And yeah, we'll definitely talk more about them in the coming weeks here. So if you enjoyed and want to see more content from me on Zenless Zone Zero, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.